Hey, what's up, chat? So this video I'm gonna talk about Freudism, Freud, Freudian theory, and MK Ultra, and what seems to me to be the fatal, uh, the fatal folly of the CIA. And in reality, um, it's just that the CIA was like a hopeless endeavor in the first place. It's like in this video, as the title is going to be something like the pseudo-religion of Freudian theory and MK Ultra, because supposedly MK Ultra was from 1953 to 1976, um, but it's documented, it's confirmed that they burned all the files. Like only we have 10 files out of what were probably like 1 million files, right? It's like the Epstein files. We have like less than 1% of the Epstein files. Likewise, we have less than 0.1% of the MK Ultra files, right? And in reality, MK Ultra is like the entire point of the CIA, right? It's the CIA is the cabal who rules the West, and their enemy is China, and they've already lost to China because what China did was block out foreign influence, kind of keep their stuff hidden, and it worked. CIA couldn't really infiltrate China for a long time, and that's why China was like, you couldn't visit China for a long time, and then all of a sudden China's like, okay, we're going to open our borders, and then it's like, oh, China took us over, okay, I guess we lost. But in reality, the CIA, they're doomed to lose, but they're also in control to torture us, right? They own us. And so the best example of this is Pier Pasolini's movie Salo, or 120 Days of Sodom, where the tyrants, realizing that the Allied powers defeated the Axis, they take a bunch of kids into their house and torture them, right? Like Epstein style. And the CIA are like Epstein type perverts. They're they're Freudian, right? They believe in Freudian theory, but I think they realize, and I believe in Freudian theory, but the thing about Freudian theory is that China actually follows Freudian theory in the way that they said, like, oh, Freudian theory is like useless. What do we need it for, right? We're just going to build factories, and that actually aligns with Freudian theory, because the thing about Freudian theory is it's actually nurture over nature, right? Like he says, Freud says that masturbation is bad, that homosexuality is unnatural, right? But it's like the way you're raised alters you. And the thing about Freudian theory is it's almost like religion itself, where like if you spend a lot of time with Freudian theory, you become Freudian. But if you just stay away from it, like China did, even though you're still subject to Freudian theory, you just make money, and you're like, who cares? Don't have sex, don't masturbate, make money, and it, like, according to Freudian theory, like that works. Then you're just that's why Chinese are very asexual, sort of robotic people. And in the West, due to the CIA and Freudian theory, the MK Ultra apparatus requires people to be very animalistic and sensual. So in the West, someone like me, for instance, people are like, oh, this guy's too cerebral and brainy, he's freaking me out, bro. Bro, stop talking about the CIA ruling the world and just smoke some weed and get some head, bro, right? But you don't want to be around schizophrenic animals like in the West. But there is something about, if that's why when you see a Chinese person, you're like, what the hell? This guy's crazy. This guy's just like a robot. But that's Freudian theory in effect. The Chinese were raised right. And that's why, the Chinese are considered similar to the Jews, because the Jews were raised right, right? And that's why Freud said, like, you shouldn't masturbate, you shouldn't be like a pedo or something. And, I don't think I could talk about this stuff, but, like, obviously I'm going to get 0 views. The CIA is going to be watching this video. They're like, oh, let's go lobotomize this fucking asshole. Fuck this guy. Because, the way the CIA works is, like, they act like, oh, we're the smartest guys ever, but they're actually, like, stupid, and they just kill smart people. Like JFK, they're like, okay, let's shoot him let's blow his brains out in fucking live TV. It's such a gang. Like, yeah, the CIA is literally just a gang of thugs. They're like, yeah, you think you're smarter than us? Well, we're gonna blow your head up. So they're actually anti-intelligence, and this is where their folly comes in. This is why they've lost to China, because they're brain drained. They're stupid. They kill smart people. And I think there's a very hilarious story about the CIA killing people even in the beginning. Like Sidney Gottlieb, the first director, poisoner-in-chief. Like, oh, so clever, he's poisoning people. But if you look at the coroner report for Frank Olson, like they dug up his body like 30 years later, and they're like, oh, he got knocked in the head. So Sidney Gottlieb, the genius CIA poisoner-in-chief, he just fucking hit some guy in the back of the head with a hammer. So I think that's fun. Like the CIA, yeah, they just kill people with hammers. They're like savages. And this is why, if you look at the CIA representatives like Andrew Bustamante, he's just like a savage idiot, moron, like a pencil-pushing psychopath. You just want him like these people just belong on death row, right? But, they rule us. We're owned by this gang of, idiot thugs. And, Harlan Ellison tells a similar story about Frank Sinatra, how he was like an idiot thug. But at least Frank Sinatra was good at singing, right? But the CIA are like talentless, idiot, thug, evil psychopaths. Just a bunch of I don't know, man. Even Jeffrey Dahmer at least was like intelligent. Like the CIA is kind of like stupid because at least, but Dahmer might have been related to MK Ultra, but I wouldn't say Dahmer himself was CIA. But there's theories his dad was CIA. But Dahmer himself was actually a pretty, a victim of Western civilization. As in the video I previously talk about how Western culture is schizophrenic, and I think Dahmer is extremely disturbing, and that's actually what got me woke to the evil of Western schizophrenia. Dahmer was not actually schizophrenic. What he was like culturally schizophrenic, because he thought he was a reincarnated Mayan. And he had a vitamin deficiency or something, because if you eat human organ meat, like that's like super, like that's the healthiest thing you could eat. You're going to get energy, you're going to get vitamin B. So like he's getting vitamin B from these human organ meats. And he's like, oh, I'm an ancient Mayan cannibal, right? But today you can't even say that Mayans were savages, even though they were cannibals. Like the ancient, we call Dahmer crazy, but in reality, the ancient Mayans were just Jeffrey Dahmer. Like they were a culture of Jeffrey Dahmers, and our multicultural thing is like, oh, the Aztec people were like a good people. Nuh-uh, they were Jeffrey Dahmer. So this is why you have to have a monogamous culture like China, with Mao Zedong, which was perhaps the greatest thing to happen to humanity. No more, like, China doesn't have any fucking schizophrenic Jeffrey Dahmer shit. But, I need to get back on the topic of the video. So this topic of the video is the pseudoscientific religion of Freudian analysis, or Freudian theory. And, I highly respect Freud. I think he was right about basically everything. But if you actually study Freudian theory, you realize that China did what Freud was supposed to do, while the CIA did the evil side of Freud, where like they turn everyone perverted so that they could be mind controlled. But what you find is that with this sort of perverted society, it just destroys itself. And in reality, the CIA never had the survival of the country in mind or of the world. All they had in mind was complete control, like a parasite, right? And they're basically like killing humanity. So the fall of the USA was kind of like the plan of the CIA, right? Like get complete control over people, torture and kill them all, destroy humanity, and have some fun, right? That's the CIA's MO. But luckily China kind of kept out foreign influence, and China's kind of the only safe haven from the CIA. And so the CIA, you know, the parasite which destroyed the world, never infected China. So we're going to see China being taken over. And obviously this is a atheistic channel, which is just normal. Maoist, cultural Maoism, atheism. But, you know, it's like really a story out of the Jewish Bible, right? Story of Noah, story of Sodom and Gomorrah. You know, Noah, the world was flooded, right? But instead of Noah, it's China. So